Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for once again joining us on Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. How's it going? Listen, and when I ask you that question, I really do mean it. How are you feeling? How has the week been going for you? How have money matters been going for you? Just take a moment to share because I know we've all got challenges and struggles, and at some point I want to hear back from you. We're going to get this going right now. I'm just kind of chatting, but we're going to get this to the point where we're going to hear from you too. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And how has the week been going for me? Well, it's tax time, and I am just so grateful that I put money aside because, I've written that check for a few $1,000s that I owed, my husband and I owed in income tax. So we got that taken care of, and I felt so good because I actually had enough money saved. Sometimes you kind of tap into that reserve fund, but this time I didn't. So I actually made it. And the other thing that pretty much happens at the same time for us is that our insurance comes due, our vehicle insurance. And what I started years ago was paying it off for 6 months. I put money aside and pay it because it's number one, it's cheaper. But then I just don't have that hassle of worrying about contributing or making my payments. So I had more than enough put aside this year. So it was kind of a win and win. Just very grateful for that. And just all you can do is take care of yourself. Okay. And it's just the same with our retirement. So I'm going to stop myself for just a second. I know the president said that with the changes in the tariff situation and the stock going back up, that we were all going to make so much money. And I don't know about you, I didn't. It was kind of a wild ride. For the only thing I have money in really is my 401k. Yeah, I put a little money aside for savings, which you absolutely have got to do. But yeah, I didn't make all that money. And just out of curiosity, because my background is in training and kind of researching things to be able to teach my students, I go, oh, okay, so who are these people who might have made money in the stock market? And I looked at a few different sources, but for the most part, it was 10% of the top earners in this country who have the vast majority, like 87 to 93% of money in the stock market. So that's really not me. That's not anybody I know. Don't get me wrong. Make your money. We're a capitalist country, and we don't want to hamper anybody's ability to make money. It's just it doesn't really affect most of us. A large portion of the population, we just don't have that kind of money. I didn't have several thousand or millions set aside where I could take advantage of what was going on in the stock market. So wasn't me. Was it you? If it was you, hey, that's just wonderful. But my salary less than, I don't make six figures, and like we've discussed before, I probably never will. So I'm not going to have that extra money to be able to put that aside. Now, if you did, ooh, good for you. I know that I read these money magazines on a regular basis, and one young woman, I think she was in her 30s, she had $42,000. Who knows where it came from? How she'd save that up, but she put it in the stock market and she made all kinds of cash. And hey, great! It doesn't really apply to me, never will. So all we can do is take this life, one step at a time. And please tell me that by now you've gone about creating your own 401k. First step, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of their posts going, I'm 42 years old and I have no money saved. And put one foot in front of the other. All you can do is start. So have you gone to your employer and made inquiries about starting up a 401k. Because in addition to putting money away, pre-tax money, that you put that money in, it grows, it earns interest, and one day you'll be able to use it. But the other part of that, remember, is that most employers contribute to your 401k, anywhere from 3 to 5%. I've seen those numbers out there. And whatever it is, it's free money. So just make sure that you are taking advantage of that first and foremost. I see things where people want to know, well, how do you pay your bills? How do you put money in a retirement account? And how do you create a cash reserve? And actually, no one of those is more important than the others, because they're all important. And what I've taken to doing is, seriously, we're all on a fixed income. As I've said before, I don't care if you're retiring or if you're actually working 5, 6, 7 days a week. We're all on a fixed budget. Your paycheck tells you what you're going to make, what you're going to have to spend. So that's the first thing. And what I do, I look at that check, and then I write down, what are my bills? What do I have to take care of? And even before I write down the bills, because as important as they are, first thing is pay yourself. That's easy to say. It's hard to do. I know, believe me, been there, where I just barely had enough to save anything, take care of my expenses, put money away for retirement. So believe me, I get it. Keep in mind, though, that you are just as important as all those other things. So I write that paycheck down. Okay, what am I paying myself first? What bills need to get knocked off? What money do I need to save, so I can pay off my income tax bill when it comes, April 15th-ish? What do I have in my 401k account? Because that's going to be me. One day that is the money I'm going to need to live on. So I have to take care of myself. You have to take care of yourself. Oh, and the other part of that, the money that I put away, the pay myself first, is that not only could I pay my bills, my insurance, the taxes. The taxes is the one thing I put the money away for. And then the other thing was to make sure I could pay my insurance, just because the last thing I want to do is have that nasty, unexpected bill. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're like, oh no, I forgot about that. Now what am I going to do? And then you go and you put something on a credit card, or you're paying it off in installments. And, just look at what you're paying in installments versus if you had saved that money up before in an interest-bearing account, put that in there, use it. And then when you're ready to make those payments, you just pay them off. It's cheaper and it's over and done. You are not stressed out. These are just things that you have to take care of. And I don't know if I told you this story before, but I'm going to share this because I had a great aunt. Loved her. She was one of the sweetest ladies. She never had children. She and her husband never had children. And so, us kids, her nieces and nephews, were her kids. And she would say stuff like, come by the house. I have some money for you. And it was never about the money. Trust me, it was $5 a week. But that she loved us enough to think of us in that way. And when she did give me the money, I never asked. She just was always shoving it in my hand. But that's how I began to live more a cash-only lifestyle. Now, don't get me wrong. I use a credit card. I plan accordingly. If I put it on a card, it's because I'm going to get miles or a cash payment. Something, I'm going to get something for it. But when I use that card, I pay it off either right away or the end of the month. I just make sure that is knocked off, because to me that's very important, not to have to worry about my debt, just taking care of everything. But back to my great aunt. She would give you this cash, the $5 a week, and she was just fun to kind of hang out with. So when she shoved a 10 or a 20 in my hand, because she had been collecting these $5 bills for when you had a chance to stop by and hang out with her. And I got to the point where that's the money that I was spending. Okay, write down what I owe everybody else, but I've got this cash. And I became kind of stingy with the cash. Okay, what do I really need? What do I really want to spend this money for? And sometimes, I'd look at myself and go, you know what? I really don't need whatever that was. I just learned to live on what I had. So, just something to think about. I love living in the cash universe just because whatever's in my wallet, that's it. That's what I have to spend. And it just keeps me honest. And, like I said, everybody does this all differently. Whatever works for you, do it. Just make sure that you are doing it. Okay? And I think that's going to wrap up this edition of Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I so enjoyed this time with you. I hope you're getting something out of it. And like I said, we're going to work to the point where I can hear back from you. And we will just kind of do what we can. Like we said, take it all one step at a time, one day at a time. So thanks so much for joining me. Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. We'll see you next time, okay? Bye-bye.